Sweet.
Here we are.
We are live. It says.
I'm back. Sorry I missed out last week.
You know, Jason, we're used to being ignored, right, Graham?
Yeah, I'm honestly when you said you were gonna flake, I was like, no surprise, but
Yeah.
hopefully you were riding that new bike that
It was technical difficulties.
I gotcha.
But
You got your internet, huh? So what kind of internet speeds are you getting over there in Ligonier?
I don't know.
Wait, where? Ligonier?
L-I-G
Ligonier, right?
I-O-N-I-E-R. Yeah, Ligonier, Pennsylvania. So
Ligonier.
Yeah.
Is that like Amish country or what's that?
Actually, it's a pre-Revolutionary War fort.
Whoa.
It was, the scene of like French and Indian battles and stuff. So they used this fort in this town to launch to Fort Pitt, which established Pittsburgh. And they kicked the French out of there back in that was a couple of years before I was born.
A few.
Yeah.
Well, so it's like OG Pennsylvania then.
Yeah.
All right.
So
okay.
Yeah.
Respect that.
So did you see this?
No. So have you taken? Yeah, like Graham said, have you taken it out for a ride?
It's muddy. I got 40 miles on it this morning.
Oh.
Wait. So first off, my first question though is, like when we talked about this originally, there was a Santa Cruz brand discussed, and Santa Cruz starts with an S. Your bike starts with a
P. It's a pivot.
A pivot. All right.
Yeah.
So let's get some backstory.
All right. So ordered the Santa Cruz, and that was like 6 weeks ago. And they kind of went nuts with the tariff stuff and said they weren't going to ship anything until he got the tariff stuff, figured out. And we said, well, when's that going to be? And they said, well, I don't know. The story I was told was sometime in May. So now it's bike riding time. And I was like, well, what can I get? And Ashley, she said, well, I can get you a pivot. They'll ship it tomorrow. And that was like 2 Fridays ago. And I said, well, do it.
Wow.
And she said, well, what one do you want? And I said, well, I want like it's the XO package. So it's electronic shifting. And it's got a dropper post. So they had, she ordered it on a Thursday. They boxed it and shipped it on Friday. I got it Wednesday. I put it together Wednesday, wrote it Wednesday night, did some tweaks on it, and then wrote it again this morning for the Sunday Fun Day ride. And dude, it is a sweet motherfucking bike.
Yeah. Which pivot is it?
The Mach 4 SL.
Mach 4 SL. So what travel you got?
120 in the front, 115 in the back.
Oh, so that's like
it's
like an aggressive cross country bike.
It's a cross country race bike. It's got a steeper head tube angle. It is light as hell. With pedals on it, the way it's sitting right there, I hung it on the scale. Just a smidge over 25 pounds.
Wow.
I don't know if I like that green. I don't know. I'm not sold.
I didn't know
what color did you get?
What's that?
What color did you get?
It's the right charcoal behind him.
Yeah.
It's not green.
It's that color.
There you go. Okay.
I wasn't feeling the green. I don't know if the green or the blue were available. I just said,
I like the blue.
Yeah.
I do like the blue.
I could roll with the blue, but the green definitely not.
Yeah. I could have went with the blue as well, but I wasn't into the green either.
So you got SRAM transmission XO on there. What brakes?
The level.
Levels, nice. And you got 160 rotors, or what do you
Yeah,
got on there?
160 front and rear. Yeah.
Nice. So you got good stopping power.
Wow.
They were talking, the guys at the shop were like, "Oh, you put some 4 pistons on there," and I'm like, "I don't know, maybe. I don't know. I don't. If I need it, maybe I will." But
Sure.
so far, Reynolds carbon wheels, which, dude, they're pretty nice.
Yeah.
Bladed spokes.
Good
It's got
warranty.
huh?
Good warranty on those wheels.
Yeah, and lifetime warranty on like the bearings and the frame and stuff and the suspension, all that. Pivot's
See,
top notch.
yeah, see, I feel like that makes such a huge difference, like these days, like when it comes to buying a bike. Like, I mean, you know, upfront purchase is there, but like especially, Trek has a great deal with it when it comes to like wheels. Like, it's
Yeah,
crash replacement,
yeah,
and then I think there's like a no questions asked warranty within the first 2 years of purchasing them. And it's like that way you get to go out and you get to use what
yeah,
you buy, right? Like you're not afraid of like
Yeah.
digging it up a little bit. But
yeah.
like, and I mean, I had a buddy in this weekend. We did a ride, which we can talk about a little bit later. But he was talking about how he got a Canyon bike, and how he had an issue with it. Like there was some cracking in the frame, and he tried to get it warranted. And by the time that he had to ship it back, have them assess it, and get it back to him, it was going to be like $800 out of
Oh
pocket
man.
just to get it looked at. And it's like,
Wow.
yeah, so it's like, I mean, goes back to the point of like having the value of having a good shop behind you, right? With someone
Yeah,
who knows the warranty process of whatever brand they're
yeah.
selling. Like that's huge. So big. But sorry.
What's the industry standard on the warranty for these high-end bikes, or any bikes for that matter? Really, like.
Well, I mean, I think like
Uh,
lifetime guarantees on the frame usually, and that
yeah.
includes like the pivot points, like all the bearings and things like that. Like there's lifetime warranties there. And then for crash replacement, like I know Trek does like a 20% off a frame or a replacement bike for a crash replacement. But I also think that, having a shop that has a person that is dedicated to warranties and knows how to have
Yeah.
relationships with the companies that they're working with goes a hell of a long way
Yeah.
when it comes to having um, good service for your customers and getting like replacement frames when it could be a
So,
crash replacement instead.
I know our shop here, they are really good at the warranty business. They're warranting stuff and making things right all the time. And they said that the Pivot has they all touted Santa Cruz as being the best warranty out there. They like smash a rim, it's replaced, no problem. Smash a frame, it's placed, no problem. I think Pivot's probably close to that category. I'm hoping. I don't know too much about that yet, but
I'm
I hope I
surprised you
don't
didn't
have to
get the.
replace anything.
Yeah. Don't crash. Don't crash it. I
Yeah.
think you'll be okay.
Oh, so super gnarly riding up here. 2 sections that are really rocky and stuff. 1 dab on each section. I'll have some videos off to upload that you can
Yeah,
that
check
I
it
can
out.
post out. But yeah, last week I was dabbing all over the place on the other bike I was riding, and this week just clearing everything.
What suspension? Like what fork and what shock do you have on the back?
It's Fox, so
Fox.
it's the
Like 34 or something like that?
34 in the front,
Yeah.
and then it's whatever the
I see they have the flight attendant. Why don't you go with the flight attendant, Jason?
I don't. That's too many technologicals for me. Or
I think what I want is a flight attendant on my cutthroat.
Yes. That
right?
is like if you could do, I agree, a gravel fork
See?
with
Yeah,
a flight attendant on it, I think would be one of the most valuable things ever. Like I think it will happen soon,
yeah,
but the
that would
fact they
make
haven't done
sense.
that, oh man, yeah, for sure. I think the only issue that, like at least when I've talked to people that race, the concern is sometimes the weight. So like if you have a
Yeah,
really like light travel fork on your gravel bike and you're going for a light setup, adding the battery pod and things like that does add, for those
add some
weight
grams.
weenies, adds grams.
Yeah.
Like for me, still doesn't make a difference. Like I would love to have that, but
Yeah.
I think people have issues there.
No, I would definitely. Yeah, I think for me the weight penalty wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't care. I'm like, just
Yeah.
give me the
Yeah,
comfort,
yeah.
Right? So we went and did the Les Hills Enduro gravel race this weekend, and somebody was like, "Hey, you were driftless last weekend. You in the front group." That's what they said.
Oh, they called you out.
Some lady,
Oh wow.
yeah, and her husband were both they from Omaha, I believe, and she actually puts on a women's only gravel race on the by the Council Bluffs area there. So which is good. And she said I think last year they had like I could be quoting this wrong, 80 to 100 women.
Hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's pretty good.
Yeah,
Wow.
for sure.
Yeah, but yeah, she was like, "Hey, you were out there bumping your elbows in the front group." I'm like, "That's right. Tell Jason and Graham, tell
Hey,
them."
shout out to Luke. Didn't he 12th
Yeah,
on that
Yeah, we talked
VWR?
about that last week. Yeah, I
Oh, did
talked to
you?
him. Yeah, I was texting him a little bit back and forth, and uh, I watched Drew Dillman's raw footage of BWR because he beat Drew,
Okay.
and man, he smoked him in the final. It was pretty impressive. But yeah, he had a great performance, especially coming off a broken thumb or a
Yeah.
broken finger,
Pinky.
pinky. That's right, other side.
Pinky, yeah.
Yeah, but he's making waves for sure. I think that was really good.
12th, man.
That's 12th in that kind of group,
yeah.
man. That kid's good. He's gonna
And
be,
and 19 now. Oh, I guess he had his birthday here.
Yeah, I guess so. He's getting old,
I wasn't asking-
I will say though, like Matt Beers won that race by 9 minutes. Like
yeah.
that's crazy.
I actually watched quite a bit of that, and it's insane because Alexi and Pete, both world tour guys, like arguably some of the best gravel riders in the US. And on the last section there, man, Beers just freaking walked away.
Walked
And
away, stomped away.
yeah, right. And it wasn't
Yeah.
even like on a single truck, right? It was there was still in the PEV section, and he just freaking uphill too.
Yeah.
Like he's going against two of the best like hilly coast riders in the US, honestly. I mean Alexi's proven, but other holy
How big are Alexi and was it Pete? You said Pete?
yeah, Pete's I think is right about 6 foot tall, but super
Yeah. I mean like
like
because Matt Beers is what 6'4", 6'5"?
He's
Yeah.
tall. Yeah.
he's a tall dude.
It's crazy.
He's 80 kilos,
Yeah. That's
So
crazy.
that's a big boy.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. Was like talking about watts per kilo because like I think Alexi's pretty small, so I mean,
Yeah.
imagine the power that Matt was putting
Right.
out. It's crazy.
Yeah, and just to like walk away from those guys.
Yeah,
The road section is just pretty phenomenal. I
Pretty
loved
crazy.
watching that race. That was good times.
So
Pete,
Ree, you rode this weekend. You had your event. I had an event this weekend. We had the Hencappy Grand Fondo down here. in
Yeah.
Chattanooga.
How would you do it?
Ah, it was great. It was great. So yeah, I was actually pretty proud of myself. So I have a grand before the race, I had a grand total of 120 miles in my legs this year.
What? What?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, come on,
Dude.
we had a kid in November.
I don't want to
so-
hear that. Don't be using your kids as an
No,
excuse.
Well, yeah, it's honestly not the new kid. It's the 2.5-year-old. Like, I mean,
That's
she's
the
like
busy
she's
one,
the
right?
knockout.
Yeah.
She's the knockout
Yeah.
blow. But yeah, so I had 120 miles in my legs, and it was I had signed up for the big like grand, which goes up 2 big climbs down here, but it was rainy. I mean, it poured down rain the whole time. So I decided to do, instead of the 80 miler, I did the 60 miler, and finished it strong, felt good, set some PRs, and made it through. I was pretty happy with myself,
Nice.
but for no training whatsoever. But yeah, Rhea, Justin Carter came down and did it.
Whoa, he was.
Yeah,
I haven't seen Justin in a while.
yeah, no, he moved off to Lexington, but I got him down here, so it was good.
Jason, you know Justin, right?
Maybe.
You probably would. If you saw him, you would know who he was.
He's
Okay.
tall, sarcastic,
Yeah.
pretty strong on the bike. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
They lived here for a while, right?
Yeah.
Iowa City
Yeah.
for a little while. Yeah, that you would definitely know him if you saw him.
Dr. Justin Carter. He's a doctor.
Okay.
That's right. That's put the yeah. You gotta put the doctor in there. You know.
He was
Yeah.
kind of new to the Monday Night Gravel,
Yes.
and then
Yeah.
he was kind of new whenever I was leaving.
Yeah.
I did get on a couple of rides with him.
right.
He was really fresh, and I really didn't. I talked to him a little bit, but not a whole lot. And then when I came back a couple of years ago for that Monday night ride, I remember seeing him there.
Yeah, he came down, and y'all should come down for that ride. It's a fun ride. It rains every year, which sucks, but like
You did rain this year too.
but it is beautiful. I honestly, Uri, I was gonna take the GoPro out and try to pull a U and like film some footage,
Yeah.
but man, it was pouring down rain the whole time, and I was like, can't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the last time I rode in the rain, Lutzen, with my GoPro, I ended up having to send it in. Well, sir, they actually just gave me a new one.
Yeah,
It's supposed to be waterproof,
supposedly.
and it got in there, got behind the lens, and no matter, like, I put in a bag of rice for probably like 5 days, nothing. It would not come out.
Yeah.
Luckily, you pay that $5 insurance with GoPro, and they just send me a new one with no questions asked.
Yeah.
So I'm very skeptical anytime I
I
go out
didn't
in
do
the
any
rain.
filming, but it was good. It was good. 60 miles, like 3,800 feet of climbing. So like,
Yeah. How'd you feel?
I never felt bad. I never let myself get an opportunity to feel bad.
Mhm.
And when that 80-mile turn and then 60-mile turn came, like the junction, I just found myself gravitating towards the left.
Yeah.
I just went right towards that 60-miler.
You're like, no, we're going this way.
I was
No,
like, yeah,
you were.
no thanks.
We just saw one race. You doubled your. I mean,
I know.
It was
A third. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
yeah, dude.
not bad.
I know, right?
Yeah.
That's all I
So-
gotta do.
So last week, our shop does a Sunday fun day ride every week in the mountain, like 6 miles, 8 miles from my house here. And my buddy Larry was in town. I said, we're riding up to the top to the start. We're going to do the ride and we're going to ride back down. And he said, great. I said, be here at like 8 and that should give us enough time to get up. Well, he shows up at like quarter after and we get a late start. I'd pull out and we get 2 blocks away. I'm like, I forgot my Garmin. I got to go back and get my Garmin. So we decide we're going to ride up. It's a 4-lane road from here west, but from here up over the mountain, it's 2-lane. It's Route 30. It's a pretty big road. And I said, let's just ride up Route 30, like 4-mile climb right off the bat. And I borrowed one of the shop's bike. It was a Norco Fluid, 140, 130 travel, like big, heavy inner tube monster truck tires. I think the bike weighed 35 pounds. It was terrible. I hated that.
Because what material are those? What was it? A steel bike or what was
It
it?
was a carbon frame, but it had all the heavy parts on it.
Yeah.
They went in the beer phone like, all right, get us the heavy rims.
It's
you
like
know.
it's like a 2,400 pound entry level carbon frame, big travel enduro type bike, and
Put your grandpa's freaking saddle on there.
so we left, and I think it took us an hour to climb. Yeah, took us an hour to climb up the mountain.
4 miles.
Yeah,
Oof.
Well, the climb was 4 miles, and it was like 3 to the bottom of the climb, so it was like 7
enough.
total. But yeah, climbing up that road, it's not. I don't recommend it, but it was the first time for me. I'd never done it before, and always wanted to go up that road. But this week, I went into this state park and went up the state park road, a longer distance to get from 30 to the same place, and I still did it in an hour. And I think I added 2 miles to the ride.
Is the road like super busy or what's, you know?
Route 30 is pretty busy.
Yeah.
But the other way I go was like nobody. It's through a state park.
Yeah, nice.
No cars.
That's how I do it.
Yeah. It's some nice gravel at the top too.
Nice.
If you come out, you guys, I want to take you guys up there, and
that's right.
It's good stuff up there.
I'll have to check it out. Graham, how is the elevation profile on your Fondo?
Oh, it's super awesome. So you have like 2 big climbs if you do the big one. So first climb, I think it's like 1,600 feet over the course of like 8 miles. So like 4% grade the whole way up, and then you have a nice descent all the way down. Ride in the valley for a little while, and then the other climb, if you do the big one, it's like a lollipop. So you go out, you do Sequatchie Mountain, which is like 2.5 miles and probably the same amount of elevation. So it gets up to like 12, 13%. So like real steep climb. But then you plateau, another big descent, and then from there it's just like rolling hills all the way back in. Sort of like someone who's trying to like get into like a nice easy ride that's well supported, that has long sustained climbs, but nothing that's too crazy if you don't do the big one. It's a great race, and the scenery is beautiful. You ride along the river, like through the valleys, like through the gorge, up some big mountains with some good vistas. Like none of those happened this time because it was pouring down rain. But normally it's really beautiful. But yeah, I think there had to have been at least like 1,500 riders. Like
wow, that's
huge.
That's a pretty big race.
Yeah, blocked off the intersections.
We're gonna hit that next year for sure.
Yeah, y'all should come down. It's super fun.
Yeah, we should come down next year. We won't have anything really going on.
However, you got to have a road bike, I guess. I saw some gravel bikes, but like at least there's some slicks on there.
Yeah, I think if I brought up my gravel bike, I'd have to put some Rene Haas slicks on there.
Why not just get a new wheel set, man? Just get like a little like some Aeolus Pro 51s. Throw some 32s.
Maybe I just get a road bike. Maybe I just get a road bike.
So what road bike would you get, Aria, if you could get a road bike?
That's a good question. I've thought like if I get a road bike, I want a tie bike. You know, want a tie bike, 2x obviously. Maybe room for 5x, but 2x for sure. But I'm not sure like what brand I would go with. There's a lot of boutique, titanium builders. So, but definitely, I think I would want a tie.
Yeah, we've got Chattanooga's like home of titanium bikes, right? Like
that's true.
Lightspeed, Linsky. There's a new brand that popped up like probably 2 or 3 years old now called Candy. I don't know if I've talked about that.
Yes.
Yeah, dude, they make some sweet titanium bikes, like double butted titanium. That's like
how you spell that?
Grade. Chandi. The website.
Yeah.
What's your road bike, Graham?
I've got a Linsky Helix Pro, so it's a titanium kind of aero framed, like aero set bike. But
how new is it?
2018. So disc brakes, but like externally routed. I've upgraded the wheels, bars, stem, seat post, saddle. I got Ultegra on there, like mechanical Ultegra. That's like the one bike I haven't upgraded yet. It's in the works. Like
Lightspeed, you said, right?
Linsky. Yeah.
Okay. Are those two companies like affiliated, Linsky and Lightspeed, or no?
So Linsky and I forgot who like started Lightspeed, but those two guys were like partners, and they started they started Lightspeed together and then had creative differences or something went on. I don't know. Like maybe he stole his dog or drank too much beer of his or something like that. I don't know. But I have no idea what happened. But they split up and Linsky started his thing. And then I think David Linsky and then American Bicycle Group, ABG. Yeah.
Yeah.
They expanded into like Lightspeed, Obed, which makes gravel bikes and mountain bikes, and then Kentanaru, which makes like tri bikes.
Yeah,
For the most part.
The light speeds that I've ridden were older, and they always felt a little bit wiggly. You know,
Yeah.
A little soft.
kind
The
of.
tires too soft.
Yeah,
Well, I
the
mean, I think that's like kind of why Candy kind of has got a bit of a niche going, is because like I don't know. I mean, Lightspeed is producing a lot of
Lauren
bikes.
said Lightspeed for the win.
No. They're just producing a lot of bikes. Like, and I think like,
well,
you know, there's like different quality controls that go into that.
all these bikes were like 15, 20 years old too. I mean, the titanium, just the tubing and the way they form the stuff has come so far.
Yeah.
There's a bike company in England, or I think it's Germany, that makes some tie frame. They make steel frame. They make stainless steel standard.
Oh yeah.
STANDERT. Dude, those, I really want one of those bikes. They're so nice.
Yeah, there was a company, I don't remember now. I was gonna get a gravel bike from them, but the build time was like a year.
Yeah.
And also the tire clearance I think was like a 42 max.
Yeah.
I was gonna have the what was the drivetrain that was going on that? You talked about that. I remember you told me.
Yes,
like-
that's right. That's right. Yeah, you and I talked about it. It had the Gates carbon belt.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Belt.
Yeah.
But it was
Yeah.
Yeah.
what wasn't it a pinion drive as well?
Yeah. Like I'm trying
The
to figure out. Yeah.
scar or
Yeah.
stare or
Yeah, it was just a lead time, and they, they wanted the money up front, also the whole amount for the bike, and it was going to take him like almost a year. I was like, that's just too. I mean, like my money is sitting there making you money, but I don't have a bike for like almost a year, so I just couldn't wait. I switched out. Yvonne asked if you rode with Danny.
Oh yeah, Danny was there. He was there. He's got, so Yvonne, just so you know, he's got a goatee right now that's braided on either side. So I should.
Of course,
Yeah.
Danny's so eccentric. That guy is,
Danny's he's a soul surfer, I guess you could say.
Yeah, for
you know,
sure.
I mean,
I like his vibe.
yeah.
Hey Graham, this is my road bike. Check this out. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. What is that?
It's a late 80s, early 90s steel wheeler road bike.
The old
That
steel wheeler.
Steel. It's steel, and the company is called Wheeler.
So the steel wheeler.
The steel wheeler.
You need to get that
Genius naming.
steel wheeler
Yeah.
just right down there on the outside of your arms,
You
right?
show up and you like, Wakanda forever. You just throw those steel wheelers out there.
It's 2x10. I built carbon wheels for it. Dude, I love that bike.
Rim brake, just like.
Rim brake. Yep.
Dude, I will say, sorry, the amount of rim brake bikes I saw on this race in the rain made me nervous. Like,
Yeah.
we were taking this like 1,100, 5-mile descent, 1,100 foot 5-mile descent. People on rim brakes in the pouring down rain, and I was like, good Lord, those people are brave. It scares me.
No, yeah, speaking of which, I had seen some rim brakes. We can talk about that in a bit here, but there was a modern rim brake, man, that just looked absolutely fantastic. So well machined. It looked, they're trying to give you the power. Obviously, it's not going to be as good as a disc brake, but it was like pretty well engineered. If I find it, I'll share with you guys. But trying to
So
find it.
I think, is it King Creek, the E brake? Do you know those?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I think a caliper is like 100 grams per caliper.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, if I'm doing hill climbs and then getting a car ride
sickeningly
back
light.
down, that sounds great. But if
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
stop my bike, which if there's
At
one
30
place
miles,
I'm going to
30
invest,
I
35
I
miles an
want something
hour.
that's going to stop my bike.
I thought about putting them on my bike because I thought, man, I'm just trying. It's a steel frame. I'm going to try and save weight everywhere I can. And they were like, I think it's like $700 or $800 for a caliper.
Oh,
Oh, they're just super
man,
expensive.
I thought SRAM was expensive. Holy cow. That is pricey. I don't know. It doesn't make sense in my world at all. Let me show you guys my this is yesterday's ride. Look at that.
Yeah,
Like 4,500 feet of climbing in about 62 miles.
that's pretty nice. How long did it take you?
Like about 4 hours and some change, I think.
It's not
5
bad.
hours. Yeah. You gotta stop and fly the drone, record stuff. But so we had one. So Jacob and Cassie were there, Jason.
Yeah.
And we rode together for a while. They dropped us, we regrouped, and then with the 11 miles to go, I looked at my hammerhead. Is like, hey, climbs are over, and that was about 50 some miles. So I attacked them on the last climb and went downhill, turned left into. I knew there was one more climb. According to my GPS, I was like, there's one climb, home sweet home, right? So I attack, I go up the climb, I look back, there's nobody in sight. I get to the top of the ridge and the wind just blasts me.
Yeah.
But I keep my head down. I'm like, if I can, go down this road, I should be able to like shake him. Right at the very end of it, I turned around and I could see them about half a mile, maybe 3/4 of a mile back.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh no. And the tandem is like, the only way I think to beat a tandem is you got to get a head start on them.
Yeah.
Because they're going downhill twice as fast as you are. Right. So, and this course, as you guys just saw, is just up and down. So I went too early, and finally, like, after chasing me for about 2.5 miles, it caught me again.
Yeah.
And it's just, I went too early. Next time, I'm going with the 2 miles to go. But I'm going to zoom out of the right profile and make sure that I have enough buffer. There was just still too much up and down, and just, they go downhill like a freaking rocket ship, and then halfway up the hill, they don't even have to pedal, and then they catch you.
Has Graham ever met Cassie and Jacob?
Yeah, I met them. Were they on the tandem, or were they?
Yeah, we talked last year.
Yeah.
Have you seen that tandem?
Yeah, it's so cool.
Dude, that is a badass tandem.
I know. I want my wife to do a tandem race with me. She was a rower back in the day, so she's got like huge endurance base, but I don't think she trusts me to drive. She barely trusts me to drive anyway. So
I gotta shout out to Cassie and Jacob's little girl, Burke. She named my bike. I don't usually name my bikes, and when I was texting Jacob last week, she said, "What's your bike's name?" And I said, "I don't know. What's a good name for it?" And she named it Cloudy Day.
Cloudy Day. I like that.
I love that. I was like, sold.
Get a sticker, put it on your top tube.
Yep. That's the only bike that's named. The other ones are just like road bikes, like either road bike or wheeler.
Does your bike have like a storage compartment in the down tube or anything like that? No. Gotcha. That's one thing I really like about a lot of modern mountain bikes. It's just like you can store all of your tools just like right there in the down tube. It always makes me a little nervous, especially with the carbon frame, like trying to get it off. I'm afraid I'm going to break something, but
No,
I always thought they were just like something to rattle.
Yeah.
So I have that on my checkpoint, and I've seen it before, and I was like, but it came with one, like whatever, I don't care. And man, it's pretty solid. I'm sure the first gen ones were maybe not very good. The new one is like, solid shot. You can wash the bike. no water seeps in with the power washer at all. And I have a water bottle in mine sitting on top of it, solid. But
I
I
think
like that I don't have a bag anymore
What
on the
next
saddle.
next time I ride with you with that, I'm gonna put some rocks in there.
Oh, it's jam packed right now. It's full. It's
The nice
full.
thing though is like for a mountain bike, and if you have a dropper, Jason, there's this thing,
Yes.
technology called a dropper post. I don't know if you've used
I
yours or not
I
yet,
have
but
one,
you got one.
not hooked up.
Yeah.
I didn't put the cable on it yet.
Yeah, well, you'll get there. Anyways, when you use those things and you drop your seat post down, you can't have a saddlebag on there because it'll like rub your wheel.
Yeah.
Especially with like the modern trail bikes. So having that little SWAT box or whatever you call
Yeah.
it is super nice.
Yeah. All the guys
Yeah, I
around
know.
here are riding those big fanny packs.
Oh, that's a style
They've got
thing.
they've got
Yeah.
the big fanny packs that they put on.
I'm not-
Maria, what is that beverage that you are sipping on, sir?
Orange juice.
Orange juice.
I thought you were gonna say it's gone.
It's
No,
gone.
it's almost gone. It's an
Whoa.
all five.
It was like blood orange juice because like that is some mango
No.
looking orange juice that
No,
I've
it's an
seen.
all fashion.
Ah,
I
I
mean,
gotcha.
I'm rewarding myself for riding hard, yesterday.
That's fair. You gotta
was-
replenish the glycogen stores. All the sugar.
That's right.
Yeah.
So Graham, what's the story on the Cayon bikes and
Man, I just saw this and like I'm curious to know if anyone else knows, like comment like more. But from what I have heard, Cayon is going to be selling some of their lower end entry level bikes like on Amazon or through Amazon. So going through the fulfillment centers and like going to be delivered via Prime. So
Interesting.
we talk about direct to consumer with companies. This is like expedited ultra direct to consumer. Like
I wonder if it's just we got to get rid of this inventory. Let's make this deal with Amazon just to get rid of our inventory.
Well, I mean, I think that probably makes sense for all of like the low end hybrid
Yeah.
commuter, low end mountain bikes, like Trek Marlin 5s, like Trek
Yeah.
Curves, like those are the bikes that you're looking to move lots of volume on, and
Yeah.
the margin is pretty good. So
Yeah.
it wouldn't surprise me if they're like, okay, this is a way for us to, move more like good GP, like
Yeah,
gross profit.
But I wonder if
bikes.
they're gonna keep doing it, or if this is like just like a, let's get rid of our shit and then
Yeah,
we'll just go back to our same old, same old.
yeah.
Because from what I understand, that's the biggest problem now is that everything's over stocked with bike models and stuff.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think some of the companies have right sized. Like Trek, I think is about to turn the corner. Like they're starting to release more and more new bikes, like truly new bikes, not just like
Yeah.
paint jobs. So I think some of the companies figured it out. Others, they have ways to go for sure.
Yeah, you guys both work at shops and stuff. What are your thoughts about like the direct to consumer? I think Trek does it okay the only reference I have is World of Bikes and Trek. I think what they have is pretty good. But what are your thoughts on that?
I'm personally, I would much rather have people come to the bike shop,
Yeah.
I do see the market there. The bikes that we deal with at our shop, I think they have a small direct to consumer thing, but for the most part, they're straight to shop. But we deal with QVP stuff, Salsa and Surly, and then we've got Scott, and we've got Pivot and Cervelo. And we do other things, like we do some Moots and we do some Reeb and we do some other higher end kind of niche things. But and Graham, you're all Trek, right? Do you guys do anything beyond Trek?
We sell candy, those, but they're like custom bikes, right? Like
Yeah.
they're built from the ground up. But I mean, I think when it comes to Aria, your question about what the feeling is around direct consumer, if I'm knowing what I know about the bike industry and how complicated bikes are, like I think there's two things that go into it. It's like one, it really does take an expert to get these bikes dialed to where they need to be ready to be ridden when they come out of the box. Because like while they are put together in those boxes for the most part, like quote unquote the brakes are bled and rotors are trued and everything looks good, like it still takes indexing of the gears. 9 times out of 10, like there's some sort of issue where you gotta bleed a brake a little bit more, or like I said, true rotor or whatever.
Or
And
you
so
sometimes you have to actually cut the brake lines,
right, you know,
because you have
yeah, it just looks terrible, right? Like so, because I mean,
some
these people are
housing out.
putting these together in
You got 2
factories,
miles
so
of
yeah, and like you know, I know bikes, I love bikes, I've worked around bikes for a while, but like I still don't trust myself to do that stuff. And so like to think that the average consumer can do that, that's crazy. So you talk about initial setup, like if you want something that works, like you don't buy a car and then like go program it and tune
yeah.
it and everything. You buy a car and you drive it off the lot and you know it's going to work.
yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
you don't
Like,
get the car doesn't show up with the wheels off of it
yeah.
Yeah.
and the tires deflated.
Yeah, and while people think that bikes are less complicated than a vehicle, like while yes, that may be true electronically, the fact that there are fewer amount of systems that make a bike really good, you have to get those systems right and to coalesce together, or else your ride experience is going to be really bad. So like initial setup is one thing. That's why it's really important, I think, to buy from a bike shop, because you got experts putting it together. And then the other piece is kind of what I mentioned earlier, and I think we talked about it on a previous episode, is warranty. Like
Yeah.
my warranty expert at Trek, shout out Maddie. Like if you're in the Southeast and you have a Trek bike, please come to us. Like that guy will take care of you so well. But it's because he will not only just like react to warranties that come in the shop. When he's building a bike, he seeks out warranties. Like he finds the issues and he takes care of them ahead of time to make sure that like you're taken care of as a customer. And I think a lot of customers don't see that.
Yeah.
And that's yeah.
I have seen so many bikes come in to where they got it, they partially put it together, they figured out. Like I've seen the ones where they've kind of partially put it together. They figured
The
out
freaking forks on backwards.
Yeah, they bring it in. They're like, yeah, I couldn't do it. Can you do it? And then you're like, okay, well, where's these parts? And then like Graham said, forks are on backwards. Like some of the cheaper Amazon stuff that shows up, forks on backwards. I've seen things where handlebars are loose.
Yeah.
Brakes aren't even like you could squeeze the brake and nothing.
You could lift that. You could lift your headset like right off the bars, right off the fork. Like
it is scary how many bikes out there that are like that, and you think,
yeah,
these people are just like, you're riding on the sidewalk or something, come into an intersection. Oh, I got to hit the brakes and stop. And guess what? You don't stop, and you're in the car.
Yeah,
keep rolling. Yeah. And that's the thing, is like it could tarnish like that person's perspective when it comes to like, if they're a new rider, you like, well, I don't want to go to the shop, I'm shy for whatever reason, you buy direct to consumer. That could tarnish that person's reputations towards that bike company. And then also it might be like, you know what, this is not for me. You put the brakes on wrong, you crash, and then you're like, I don't want this hobby,
And let me tell you, it's not just the stuff you get online. It's the Walmart and and the Target stuff. Some of that stuff is you buy it and you think, well, these people put it together, right? And half the time it's just some who got there late that day, and it's like, oh, all the shelf stocking stuff or the clerk stuff is done. Oh, you get to build bikes today, and how do I do that? Well, look at the instructions. Here's a couple wrenches. It's probably a small toolbox with a crescent wrench, something else, and the brake levers are up like this, and the handlebars. I've looked at some. I love going through like a Walmart or something and just checking the bikes out and seeing how
actually just twist the headset. Just twist the headset every time.
Yeah. And I've had people in the shop where I've told them, look, I know we're a little expensive. If you're going to go to Academy or you're going to go to Dick's or something, great. Bring it here. At least have us look at it, and we'll tell you, look, if it's not safe or not, we'll work something out with you.
Yeah, I mean, I think like this almost opens up like a good. You guys made a couple of really interesting points. So like one, like bike shops are scary to people, like they are.
Yes,
Especially people that like may not fit the like white male stereotype that bike shops and bike culture is, right?
I think it's the
So like,
spandex that makes
yeah,
it scary.
yeah. Well, for some of us, I kind of like that part, but
show
that's
up in
just
the
me.
spandex.
But
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, like, so like bike shops are scary, and then like with that, like people have up their defenses because they don't know how to work with the bike shop, they don't know how to talk with them, and so ultimately, what that means is like a lower quality ride experience, and like it might
Yeah.
mean the difference that like of someone getting into the sport and staying with it or not. So it's I think a interesting conversation that we could have. We could have it now or not, but like especially with our perspective, Jason, and then your perspective, Yuri, as a customer, is like how to have a relationship with your local bike shop, right?
yeah,
Because like bike shops, as much as there are so many bike shops where it feels standoffish and intimidating, I guarantee you that like 99% of bike shops out there, they want to help their customers in the best
Yeah.
way that they can.
absolutely.
The problem that they have is they don't know how to connect with their customers, or their customers don't know how to connect with them. And I think it would be a really interesting like conversation, and like maybe we could have someone like Baker or on to like talk about how do you make the most out of your local bike shop to make sure that even if you didn't get the bike from them, how do you make sure that your bike's maintained, and how do you know what is the right amount to spend, and like how do you know what they're telling you is true? Like I think there's bike shops struggle in the customer service aspect, and sorry, we're going back to direct to consumer versus bike shop, but I think that's a huge part of it. And if you could understand the value that your shop can give you,
Yeah.
and like how they want to use their knowledge to make your ride better, like God, if you would just listen, like they'll do it for you.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
saw I saw a funny Instagram the other day, and it was this, ladies playing the two parts of the bike mechanic, and she's like, "Yeah," and the bike mechanic, she's like, "Yeah, your bottom bracket's, it's a little bit wonky," and she's like, "Oh yeah, the bottom bracket, I thought so." She was like, "Where's that again? What
Yeah,
part is the bottom bracket again?" "Oh yeah, down there."
done it. That's it.
yeah,
I read an article somewhere a while back, like when the whole internet like was booming and people were buying more parts, online. A lot of bike shops, especially in the P&W, had to reinvent, and the ones that really reinvented themselves, they made the bike shop more of like a community hangout. Like many people feel like you don't even have to buy anything; you just can come here. We have great coffee, we have some beer, we have snacks and stuff, and people would just you stay and then you're like, oh man, I need some lube or I need some sealant, and just kind of hanging out and just making the place less of like super business oriented, just kind of relax. People, mechanics are working their bikes, you can come down and make a coffee, hang out, talk to the guys about what bike you're thinking of buying or something like that, so
I
yeah.
feel
I
I
mean,
think
I
like
that's
think
a,
you're talking about two different types of shops, though. Like, or maybe there are multiple types of shops. Like the community hangout, like people that are into bike culture, like they're
yeah,
riding everywhere. They're you. Like they're not me.
yeah,
'Cause I just like almost hit a third of my mileage for the year yesterday. So like I'm not riding every day, and a lot of us aren't. But so I think there's value in the transactional relationship, just like your car mechanic, right?
yeah,
You want to trust your car mechanic because they're
yeah,
not going to like take you to the cleaners.
yeah,
So like I think there is a way that bike shops can approach things, and like way that they have relationships with their customers, and some do it better than others, to where that maybe yeah they're hooking you up a little bit with doing the minor adjustments, indexing your gears, or maybe they'll bleed a brake every once in a while if it just needs a little something. But when it comes down to spend the real money because you need a new cassette and your chain wear is at like you know 2/3 wear, like it's time to replace everything. They know that it's good advice at that point, and it's ultimately going to make the ride quality better for the customer, regardless of what the price is. Like, and I don't know. I go to the shop here in Chattanooga, the truck shop, and I have nothing to do with the service aspect of it, but that's one thing that those guys do well is that they earn the trust of the customers to where if a customer comes and drops their bike off and says like fix it with what it needs to be done, if they come back with a $300 quote because they need that much work done, they know that that's really what they need, and it's not
Yep.
I've always felt the Trek shops were always like pretty, I would call them kind of corporate
yeah.
feeling, but they're they're dialed though. Like they're in there and they're like this, and they inspire a lot of confidence. I've been to a bunch of them and worked at a couple, and I think they're great.
So, like Jason, your perspective when like a customer comes in, like what if they're nervous about coming into a shop because they need work done on their bike, or if they're trying to buy a new bike? Like I don't know exactly where you fall in at the shop. Like what is the best approach that a customer can have when they do that?
A customer?
Yeah, like I mean, because
I would say to come in and just say what you're looking for. Just start off by, I mean, and I get it. You're like you said, some people are kind of a little bit nervous and apprehensive about what they want, and they just kind of poke around. And I'm just looking, but I think try and find somebody that you make eye contact with, and of course, all shops are a little bit different. You never know when you're going to run into a sour shop, and if you run into a sour shop that you don't like, go to the next one. But walk in and be like, "Look, I'm new to this. I want to be a road rider. Show me a road bike."
Yeah. No, I think that's a good way to do it. Is like
and be up
front.
Be up front with like budget.
Yeah.
Because that's a big thing. Like, look, I don't want to spend $10,000. I don't want to spend $500. And another part, I feel like there's customers that are, just the people that they really want to buy a Walmart bike, but they're going to the bike shop and they get kind of sticker shocked there.
Yeah.
With an expensive bike. And that's a tough one because maybe they're not really into biking. They just want to have a bike.
Just like a commuter bike or something to run around the compound.
Or just like this is the the kid's bike or my bike to just leave at the beach. We've had a lot. I've had a lot of those in Greenville. It's just something I leave at the beach. But yeah, I think just be open, because most of the bike shops I've gone to, everybody's more than willing to try and talk to you and help you out as best they can. And the more upfront you are about it, like don't get like if I'm talking to a future customer to a bike shop, like if they start pushing you or talking to you about like the more expensive stuff, just say right up front, look, I'm not spending that much. What do you got in this price range?
Yeah.
And then also for the customer to do a little research at home. Take a look at what
and tell us, dude.
cost.
Tell us what you've done. Like,
yeah,
that's my thing. It's like if to all the people out there, when you go into a bike shop, it is not a chess match, man. Like, I'll tell you, like if you walked into a bike shop and you're thinking about buying a bike, I know you want to buy a bike. Like, I know you've done research. So just tell me where you are. And that includes like, what models have you looked at? Why do you like those? What's your budget? Like, and then let me just nudge you a little bit, and figure out, what works for you. I think so many people walk into shops with this like adversarial approach. Like, oh, these guys are just trying to hawk me a bike.
Yeah.
We don't care. We want you to have fun. And if you want to buy a bike, buy a bike.
It's weird, the customers, and it's weird and the areas too. In North Carolina, we're getting like a lot of, I can get that e-bike for $300 on Amazon. Like, okay. It's not the same thing.
Yeah.
You have to put it together, remember?
And I think one of the things that most people underestimate that we've already covered is the warranty and the service aspect of it. Like, if you go buy a bike down at World of Bikes or you guys shop, you know, hey, single source right here. I bought it here. Anything goes wrong, they're gonna take care of you. Whereas Amazon, 30 days, you gotta call that Chinese company. Good luck, right?
Yeah.
Getting somebody to answer your request. And I think Jacob was telling us, you know that e-bike they take their daughter on to school,
Yeah.
and the motor failed or something like that. And it's like a 5-year-old bike, so it's not that old on e-bike. And he reached out
I think the motor is like an aftermarket
hub.
attachment.
Yeah.
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 So he reached out to the company, ghosted him. They didn't even be like, hey, we'll look at this, we'll tell you what's wrong. Nothing. You know, he never heard anything back. So it's
and that's weird too, because in North Carolina we've run into some of these, like weird off-brand high bike stuff, and you email them, and sometimes you don't hear anything, and sometimes like Johnny on the spot, oh yeah, here's the part.
Yeah.
It's crazy how random it is.
Yeah.
I would say like no matter what, having a relationship with your local bike shop is far more valuable to you in the long run than any price discount you're going to get from going direct to consumer.
Yeah.
And I will also say that if you buy a bike and you come in and talk to a shop, and then you go buy a bike elsewhere and you bring that bike into the shop, there will be a stigma. Like they're going to help you out, but like that trust and relationship will be hurt. So like take advantage of the fact. I'm just being honest, because like people are people, and like they want to be there from the start to finish of the relationship with your cycling career or whatever it may be. So take advantage of your local bike shop. Trust those guys. Be open with them. Like the guys and girls there will help you out so much.
Most of them will let you, they'll let you ride whatever bike you want, even personal bikes,
Yes.
Like this bike here, guy was looking at, like, I don't know, I might want to ride it. I'm like, take it for a ride. Actually, he's like, you got it in your truck? I'm like, yeah, I'll go grab it.
Yeah, well, that's crazy. I would never do that, but my brand new bike.
I'm like, you want a new bike? We'll get one off the show floor here.
Yeah.
You're not taking my bike.
See, I know
Jason's very generous people out there. I am not that generous.
And I know Ashley, she's like, if something happens to it, she'll take care of it for me,
For sure.
That's true.
We'll make it right, Yeah. She's like, I don't know if you guys have watched any of her flat tire stuff. She's always posting on Instagram.
Yeah.
So she was doing an Instagram the other day, and she had her gravel bike on the ground behind her, and she was setting up the camera, and she stepped backwards and stepped on the derailleur.
Nice.
And it said, oh, okay, well, it's bent. I'm just not going to shift. So she rides, and she's riding back to the shop, and
Shimano?
No, it was SRAM.
Oh, okay.
But not
it wasn't
transmission.
transmission though.
Not transmission.
It wasn't the best Instagram
it was a
ad ever,
Warbird, But she stops and does something, and she gets back on the bike, and she forgets and shifts at one time and just wrap everything up.
That hurts.
Did you guys see Strava bought Runner for all the running people out there? So I feel like Strava has kind of become the Facebook of this fitness industry. You know how Facebook was buying up all these different companies, WhatsApp, Instagram, and now they bought Runner, which is a big app, like platform for runners. But I'm wondering, you guys, what value do you see out of Strava? I'm curious. I don't even have the Strava app on my phone right now. What value do you guys see that Strava brings to the table?
So you're not on Strava really, are you? I don't see you post hardly ever.
I haven't for like a year now.
Graham, how much are you on Strava?
Well, I'm on Strava all the time. How much do I post to Strava?
Yeah.
About
Well,
100,
you only have
120 miles since the beginning of the year.
Well,
So
but
not that often.
Do you post all your rides?
So yeah, I do. So here's my thought on Strava. I like Strava as long as it remains as simple as it is, which is the fact that you post things, you can put media up on there, and then you can like it or comment on it. When they did this whole like direct messaging thing, I thought that was weird.
Yeah, that
Like
was kind of.
it's like, not to speak for all women out there, but it was Strava's already creepy enough when it comes to people like stalking them on Strava. Like that had happened a couple times, and now all of a sudden, like your stalkers can direct message you. Like that's great. So thought that was weird, but like I do like Strava from a social media perspective because like especially with the people that I am friends with in the fitness community, like that's probably the only material reason that I'm close friends, or not close friends, but like friends with them. And so it's like that's what I want to see, right?
Yeah.
Like I want to see what they're doing, and it's motivating in that sense. I like that, and then I will always love segments. Like not that I KOM many or if any in recently, but like I do like looking to see what my friends have done.
I've got all the KOMs for laps around my house, like right in my yard.
There you go.
See,
Yeah,
I
like
took
it.
Jason. I took your KOM over there. Well, I took your position over in that the Hawkeye field, the baseball on right by the.
Yeah, but you did that on the e-bike. I know you did.
No. That was on my two legs. That was on my two legs. Non-powered. But yeah, no. So I'm just being curious because I haven't been posting regularly on Strava, and I was just curious to see what value you guys see from it.
I like it for a lot of the same reasons Graham said. And I really am bummed that I don't see a read.
Hey,
so I can't.
You sound like
You
one
went
of
in-
the.
you
You
went
sound
in
like
the
one of
bucket.
the Snoopy.
What'd I do?
Like,
There we go. Now you're back.
Okay.
Yeah, you're in the pocket. There you go.
Okay,
You're back.
sorry. But I'm upset. I never get to post and give Aria kudos that he needs, to make him feel better with himself. But
I know I need to get back on it.
I don't like it when people put their 5-mile dog walks on Strava. or
Yo,
2-mile
listen,
dog walks on Strava.
I put all that on there.
I
don't
You
get
do?
much.
I don't do any of my trainer
when I
rides.
do it.
I don't do any of my trainer rides. I do.
Trainer rides should never go on any social media ever. You should be embarrassed about your trainer rides. Do those in a dark cave and congratulate yourself, and don't tell anybody about it.
Yeah,
that's how I feel about trainer rides.
I'll post the trainer ride. Obviously, I haven't done that, but if I did a super long ride, like a 6-hour trainer ride, I might even make a video. I might even make a video.
That's called a cry for help. It's called a cry for help. A 6-hour trainer ride. Like I will be calling you, Aria, to see if you're okay.
Seriously though, I will give you that. But like just a regular trainer ride,
30 minutes here, 50 minutes there.
I don't like seeing the Zwift loops. How many times you went around Wytopia?
Yeah, right.
That's the crazy first. Like when when people like post their lunch walk, morning walk, train, like walk the dog. Is like that one person has like 6 like activities in one day. Like, hey, how many kudos do you want?
I walked to the post. I walked to the mailbox today, and I walked back, and I walked to the mailbox today, and I walked back. I'm still on the non-pay side of Strava.
Ooh.
And
you don't use a dropper post.
Yeah,
we know a lot about you.
So Graham, do you pay for Strava?
Strava pays me.
Yeah. That's okay. So that's one of like the reasons I like stopped using Strava. Like in a way, I was just kind of boycotting. I'm like, I didn't want to because they did that price hike. What is the price nowadays anyway?
Oh, isn't it variable? Like it depends on. I'm pretty sure it was like
how many kudos you get.
Yeah, for sure. Could be a discount.
Yeah, I'm trying to see.
thought
So
it
let's
was
see
very
all
good.
the plans. Let's see all the plans. I'm curious.
Oh gosh, that's expensive.
I'm
I,
not a
I need a,
student.
I need a student. Can somebody give me a student voucher so
Yeah.
ID so I can get? See,
I want to
So-
get. I'm just going to do the family plan and put Lindsay on it, and she never posts anyway, so it won't matter.
that's true. Then you're saving some money there, right?
Yeah.
So the student plan's pretty solid. Family plan's even better. Oh, but so you need 4 accounts though.
Oh,
So do you get 4 friends?
I'll put Dewey and Dusty on.
Your dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't you guys have like the little trucker?
Yeah, if you do the
Thing
5 collars, I've heard those 5
Yes.
collars.
Yeah.
They go with
That's
Strava.
right.
Now that is a low. I will say that's where I draw the line. If you are using your dog's 5 collar to record Strava
Hey.
for the dog, like
How about my
I'm done.
chinchilla?
no, that's kind of cool actually. I'd be
Yeah,
okay with that.
yes, another chinchilla. So Graham, you cut the line right there on the dog.
Yeah,
Strava.
dog Strava. I mean, I'm waiting for anyone to come adopt my dogs from me. So like, dog life is not high on my list right now. I'm kidding.
yes,
I love
you-
my dogs, but I would give them away. Or if they happen to disappear one night, anyone, I would not probably look that hard for them.
See, I probably would get a dog, but like one side of our house is now fenced, because we like our neighbors. So you just walk over there and talk to the guy. He's an old retired Marine, So I like to go and hang out with him. And so for now, we don't have a fence there, so I don't want to have a dog. And I want him to be able to run around freely, instead
you
of being.
No, you want a dog. You want a dog that just lays on the couch and doesn't do anything all day. I promise.
Yes, maybe that too. Get like when Alexi Vermeulen has that wiener dog that he puts on his backpack.
Willie
Yeah.
the wiener. Yeah.
Yeah, that, No, so Jason, create a family plan and send me an invite. I'll take it for free. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take a free Strava family
Maria,
plan.
I will tell you on the Strava point, there was someone that I rode with this weekend. I'm not mentioning any names, but
Yeah.
he was wondering where you had been on Strava. He actually asked me that. And I was like, I don't know. I don't really know.
Yeah.
So,
I was kind of boycotting Strava a little bit.
you're missed. People, the fans are calling for you to be back on Strava.
Maybe I'll get back. I've actually been thinking about it because like the last weekend have been pretty bang over weekends. So maybe I should put those on the map.
Yeah, maybe you should.
Yeah, I'll probably start posting once I start.
Run a little more.
Yeah, well, now that we got some internet here and I can start actually looking at Strava again, I'll probably start putting rides on.
No more. You don't have any more termites, right? At your new house?
Not in this house.
No.
Dad, we left them all at my dad's house, but
Hopefully, you didn't bring any in your suitcase.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. I don't mind I'm still like not wanting to pay because, and they keep taking away more and more of the stuff that I look at. But really, all I do is scroll through and see what everybody else is doing and hit kudos as much as I can.
Yeah. I wonder if does Zoran get a discount? Does military member discount?
Oh. Who's online with us today? Anybody?
We got Zoran was on here, Ivan was on here, 2 other people on here. People have been coming and going. I was trying to see if Zoran,
How's our views on YouTube and such?
Thousands. Shadow views mainly.
Oh yeah, no, it's been pretty good. It's been pretty good. People are listening consistently.
I want people to drop some questions in, like even if we don't
I
get
know.
to them during the podcast, like if you drop them in the live, like it gives us good ideas to talk about.
Yeah, if you have any questions, please throw it in the chat. We're in here.
I can even answer some questions about electrical and plumbing and pools and.
I need a landscaper. You know anything about that?
I don't do landscaping.
All right,
Sorry.
You're no use to me then.
Manscaping. Ask Maria about Maria will
And
take the manscaping.
I don't know anything about manscaping, man. I keep it wild.
Manscaped. There are new.
I keep it wild. You can see the beard, you know, it replicates everywhere else.
Yeah, it looks good.
Graham, do you guys have a pool down there?
No pool. I want to get a hot tub. I want to get like a 2-person hot tub. You know, like kind of like a trough looking thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. My wife has this thing about tiny kids and drowning.
in the water.
I get it, you know. I mean, but I might sneak a hot tub in here eventually. We'll see.
Because Jason's, you know, he has experience building pools and stuff.
I've done
hot tubs also?
I've done hot tubs too. Yeah.
Come on down,
Yeah.
man.
I was sent to Canada to work to get trained on how to do these hot tubs up in Canada.
You put him in Justin Trudeau's house?
No.
Now that he's retired.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I was like out in the middle, like way in the middle of Edmonton. And but yeah, hot tubs, I like them.
Come on down. You and Aria, come on down. You can build a hot tub in a day. I will take you guys on the best mountain biking trip you'll ever have down here in Chattanooga. We got 9 places to ride. Like,
but it has to be a medium cost for me for my mountain bike skills. I don't want to break anything.
No, I got you covered, man. It'll be good. It'll be.
None
of that rocky stuff that Jason loves. Jason loves the rocky stuff in PA.
I'll put you on the flow, Aria. Just the flow tracks.
I probably need a new mountain bike too before I do that.
Yeah, you're due.
Yeah, tell Ivan. Ivan, are you listening? You know,
and don't get anything like. I wouldn't do more than 130 suspension. I think you'd be fine on 120.
You'd either do top fuel or a super cal even.
Yeah,
I've been thinking about that super cal.
Problem with the super cal, the only problem with the super cal is that the shock service, the labor that goes into that is expensive because you gotta.
What's the trouble in that shock?
Like 80 in the back, like 60 or 80.
110.
Oh no, I don't know if I like that.
And get the top fuel.
Not enough.
Top fuel.
Yeah, the top fuel.
Top fuel is the minnow link too, so you can like adjust the bottom bracket height. So you can you can adjust the geometry of the frame, which is kind of cool. So, and I think it takes up to like a 160, so you could like.
Are they? Is the top fuel 120 now?
I believe so, right?
I think it is. Yeah.
After my model, I think they went to 120. Yeah, 120 front and
after
back.
Your year, because I had the same bike, they went to 120, 115, and that's the bike I had. And then like a year or two later, they bumped up to the 120, 120. And then the Fuel EX is 130, 130?
No, it's 140, 130, I think. Yeah.
I think it looks like what was the clearance, the tire clearance on your bike? Did they change that? Because mine, I can only do a 2.4.
I can do a 2.6 on my bike.
Ooh.
Yeah. You should be able to do not your bike, Maria.
Yeah.
Most of the Trek new lines that they take up to a 2.5 or a 2.6.
Yeah, my new one was a 2.6. That my top fuel that I just got rid of was a 2.6.
Because I have a 2.4 in there, and I kind of found like when I cut down the PSI when I was in Colorado.
Yeah.
I did find its limitation. I was like, you need a little bit more meat. Like we would do like a lot of rocky stuff, and I was just banging rim the whole time.
Yeah.
So I always wondered if they made that improvement.
You can put more air in the tire. That'll stop that.
Yeah. Well, what is fun in that? I need the corner traction. My knee has to be able to touch the ground as I'm going around.
Naturally.
Corner, you know. I'm that good, you know.
That's GP Moto.
Yeah.
Isle of Man TT.
That's right. You know who was riding so good this weekend, man? So I gotta stop training with Yvonne, okay?
Yeah.
Because we do a ride and she's like, oh, I'm not feeling good. And so I pull the whole time. And then come rest day, I'm like, you've been saving all your energy.
She's a sandbagger. That's for
like,
sure.
She's like right there. Like right there. Like, wait a minute. I thought you told me you're not training.
Yeah.
Where is this coming from?
She's a sandbagger. She plays her cards well.
Yeah, so I told her, I'm like, you know what? No more. Like, if we go on a training ride, I'm gonna stick to my plan. If I have to do 300 for 5 minutes, that's what I'm gonna do. If I drop you, I drop you because no way. This is like the sixth race that she's done this.
Yeah.
So no more.
Working
You always beat her in the field sprint, though.
Oh, but Graham, you know this, right? I'm undefeated in this field sprint.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, every race I've ever done, undefeated. I usually recruit a couple people towards the last, couple miles. I'm like, all right, guys, let's stay together and let's sprint for it. There's no award just to say you beat a bunch of people you don't know in this, in the sprint. And I'm undefeated. Mid South, Unbound, Kelowna, Steamboat,
dropping wild bombs.
Yeah, undefeated, man, undefeated.
What's your
so
max
if you're listening,
wattage? What's your max wattage there, area?
Oh man, my numbers are crazy. You ask Jason, he's like my. I think max is pretty crazy. I could sprint pretty good.
Yeah.
But
1,500, 2,000, yeah,
1,800.
1,800.
Yeah. But it's like I do that effort, then I need to lay on the couch for the rest of the day. So this weekend when I attacked those guys, I just went all out on the climb, and it's just like I've been trying to train to where you go hard and then you get to the top, you don't power doesn't drop. You get to 200 or something. And man, it's just like that's my weakness, because in college, I mean, in high school, I played rugby, basketball, and stuff like that, but it was not the same like endurance level. So I'm not, I've tried to work towards that, but it's just for me recovering like at 200 watts is just so much to ask for, and I'm trying to improve that because that's the difference between, cresting the hill with a group of guys, and then if you have to get to zero. Bye. You're done.
Yeah.
You kiss in the wind and you're like, oh no, this sucks.
Yeah, keeping the power down over the top of a hill is one of the hardest things to do.
Right?
It's so hard. That's like what we talked about. What was it last week? Like, would you rather go into a headwind or go up a hill? Like for me, I'd rather go up a hill because I can put down power going up a hill. But it's so easy to let off the power when you just got the wind in your face, or if you're coming over the top of a hill. And you're like, oh, I'm picking up speed, but everybody's still dropping me. Like that's
everybody's
so hard. So hard.
Yeah. So what would you prefer? Like I said, I'd rather ride into a headwind. Graham would rather go uphill.
I like both.
Oh, come on. No.
I love a good headwind and just slogging it out by myself in a headwind. And I also I love going up that hill today. It's like I was pushing hard the whole time.
Yeah. Mine goes tailwind, downhill, false flat downhill, then uphill, then headwind.
False flat, those are the worst.
Downhill, false flat downhill, though, you feel like you're a world tour athlete. Like you feel like you're a world tour pro.
Yeah.
You're like you kind of pedaling, but not really, and you're like just going so fast. You're like, I was made for this. I could take on.
So that fluid that I rode last week, that Norco thing, it was so heavy. It was like pedaling a motorcycle without a motor up the hill and through the woods. And then we said, oh, we're gonna ride down the hill. Okay. And I thought, all right, this is where this bike's gonna shine. I'm gonna have to hit the brakes because I'm gonna be doing 50 miles an hour down this hill. And wouldn't you know it, the headwind coming up the mountain was so strong. I was pedaling to try and get 28 miles an hour going downhill.
Jeez.
It was a steep, long hill. So
Larry's
like, what'd you think of that bike? And I said, well, it's slow going uphill, it's slow going downhill, it's slow in the woods, it's slow in the break.
There's no break in between. No, seriously, it looks cool though. I like the geo on it.
It's probably a great bike. It's not for me.
Do they have like a carbon version of this thing?
I was on the carbon version. It was the NX model.
Man, I don't even have it on here.
I thought it was
NX.
carbon.
Oh, there you go. No, I don't see
And
it.
this bike was a last year or year before leftover.
That would make sense.
You
Don't that kind of reminds me of
Oh no!
whoa, what was that? You guys still hear me?
Yeah, you're overheating again.
You sound like you're melting.
Man, I thought I had it fixed. Well, we're actually over our recording time. We're at 120 right now.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
We gotta shut it down. I gotta go to bed.
Yeah, we're over 120. So
Well, this was a good conversation.
yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed
You guys want to look at my bike one more time?
it.
Yeah. Let's take a look at it. Oh, look at that.
Look at that.
So Graham, when we come to visit you, are we doing mountain bikes? Or we're doing gravel bikes.
Mountain bikes. We're
Mountain bikes?
biker. Yeah,
Okay.
for sure. Bring your mountain bike.
How
You can
far
do
from
gravel,
the trailhead?
but for the trailhead,
Yeah.
closest one is probably 15 minutes away.
Okay. Not bad. We'll definitely come out.
They're probably.
Thank you all for watching.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. There's 7 people in here still in the chat hanging out with us. Thank you all for watching. Yeah.
Way to hang in there.
Tell them to hang.
Ooh.
I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week. Graham
Hey.
Graham needs, Graham, don't wait another 6 months.
To do another
to
60
get it.
miles.
Yeah, don't wait
Yeah.
another
I know.
6 months to ride your bike. You
I
gotta
wanna
have at least 1,000 miles this year.
I'll
you
get
know?
there. I'll get there.
All right.
I'm a diesel. It just takes me a while to get started.
Because when we come over there, we're not gonna take it easy on you. We're gonna pull
Don't
gas.
worry. I'll drop
Right?
you. Don't worry. I got you. Covered,
Okay.
man. I got you.
I gotta get my new Top Fuel flight antenna on the whole
There
thing,
you
front and back. Maybe some Continental tires on there. I'll be unstoppable, man.
Some new Devitals. We should talk about the new tires sometime.
Yes.
There are a lot of new
Yeah.
Maybe, there's been a bunch of new tires, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. People, if you have
Next
any tires that you want us to talk about, please let us know. We'll
Let's talk
we'll-
about
we'll-
tires this week.
yeah,
That sounds like
we
fun.
chat about it. Awesome.
Cool.
All right, we'll shut it down. Thanks, everybody.
Peace out.
See you guys.
Until next time.